Hello and welcome everyone to the third part of my home makeover series. This week we're focusing on the hallway. I feel like this is a rather odd makeover to do because I feel like usually hallways are just kind of a more practical space that just connects the different rooms. But for this hallway, I really wanted to do something different. I wanted this to be cozy because it also just opens up into our kitchen. So I really wanted this to be a living space rather than a functional space. However, I feel like a hallway does have a lot of functions. In our case, it definitely needed to fit a wardrobe, a shoe rack, and a few different pieces. Let's start with the wardrobe. I feel like I talked about this before, but we went to this amazing countryside thrift store and found the most amazing wardrobe and shoe rack. I feel like we should start right here by the entryway because this is kind of the area that has changed the most, even though it still needs a lot of work to be done because we want to do a mirror over here, but I really like how I styled these pieces. I love this little shoe cabinet so much. It is so versatile. It is missing a knob right here, so I feel like I need to replace that, but I love how it folds down. These are all of my boyfriend's sneakers. I feel like it's a great piece of furniture. And then over there we have the yellow wardrobe, which I love. And it has some little hooks down here for teddy boys things, so I feel like that's perfect for us. Because this wall is so big and just so perfect with all the light coming in, I wanted this to be a standout piece. So when we started to think about it, we were thinking about adding an accent color on this wall, but then Lust Home reached out. Lust Home makes the most amazing vintage, but also just really boldly colored wallpapers. Just anything that is a little out of the ordinary. And they sent me some samples. In a recent vlog, I actually showed you those, and I had you guessing which one we chose, and I think it is very apparent now we went with this one. So let me take you through the process of putting up this wallpaper. We are in our big hallway. I feel like this is such an important area because it kind of is what sets the mood for the entire apartment. And today we really want to tackle this wall. So when you enter the apartment, this is the view. Please don't mind all of these things over there to build what we are working on today. But I really wanted to accentuate this wall. We ended up going with this one, which wasn't our first choice, but what I love about Lust Home is that they will send you samples. And when we looked at this, we just really fell in love with it. And I feel like if we would have only looked at it online, we would have definitely gotten a different kind, which I'm so happy that we decided on this. So we got several rolls of this wallpaper, and I feel like now we definitely have to figure out how to cut this to make the pattern line up and then start to wallpaper. So I started by measuring the length of my walls, and then I vacuumed the floor really nicely because I don't have a table to put up wallpaper, so I just decided to use the floor. This works really nice because the wallpaper paste is actually water-based, so when you're done you can just wipe it all off. And then I started to cut the wallpaper. I tried my best to be as accurate as possible and also find a starting point that I really liked visually, because you will align your patterned wallpaper according to the first piece that you cut. So we just put the second one down and just lined it up, and now we're gonna cut it to match the other one perfectly. With patterned wallpaper, you will always have a little bit of extra, but I feel like because in the end we also need to tackle these like little bits up there, this will work out fine. We were really intentional with every single piece that we cut and tried to make them align up as perfectly as possible. With this, it kind of like took a little bit of trial and error, but after a while we had it pretty much down, and so we cut every piece by hand because of all the dents and cracks in the wall, just to make sure that it fits perfectly. Then it was time to mix the paste. We just got this at our local hardware store, and from my experience it is really important to apply enough wallpaper paste to not only the wallpaper but also the wall. And then when you're done with the wallpaper, you just kind of fold it over like this and then do both sides to just let the wallpaper soak in all of the adhesive and make sure that it'll stick to the wall nicely. So well, a love like dominoes. When putting up your wallpaper, try to put it as straight as possible. The good thing if you apply enough adhesive to both the wallpaper and the wall is that you can actually move it a little bit, and so I move it around until I feel like it is perfectly aligned, and then I have this brush that I just use over to just make it stick to the wall perfectly and clear out any bubbles. Hello everybody, it is the next day. As you can see, last night we started to put up wallpaper and I love how it turned out. However, this is proven to be a little more difficult than I initially thought, just because of the way that this isn't a straight wall, but there are so many, like a radiator, then there's like a light switch, and then especially that part up here with all the wood, you just need to measure every single piece, and you cannot just make them all the same and then attach them, because every piece needs to be measured individually. So this is taking a lot of time. However, I love the wallpaper. It is so thick, such a nice quality, and it stays up really, really well. Let me take you over here and show you a little close-up. The wallpaper is so dreamy and I love it. It turned out exactly how I want it. The only thing that I'm unsure about is this up here is like a little like silicone thing that kind of like connects the wood to the wall, and it is white, and like I cannot wallpaper over it because it is silicone. So I'm just wondering if maybe we will end up painting this in like this kind of color. I feel like that would be an idea, just to have it match a lot better. Just to give you an idea, this is how we kind of cut them. Everyone has its own like little dents and things. Now it is the same procedure over and over. I take a piece, put it up, and then I take the next piece, cut it, make sure that it aligns perfectly, and stick it to the wall. And by doing this over and over, I slowly work my way through the entire wall. It's done. It took us about 1.5 to 2 days, I'd say, to finish this entire wall, and I love how it turned out. Let me show you a little bit of a close-up. The wallpaper is such a rich and nice color, and I love the pattern. To be fully honest, there are some little bits where it's not perfect, and I feel like that is mainly because we have a structured wallpaper underneath. I feel like if I hold the camera kind of like this, you can tell there are some bumps. And at Last Home, they advise you to take that off, but because we are renting, we weren't allowed. But I feel like overall, it's a great look. Unfortunately, the weather isn't nice these past couple of days, but yesterday the sun came in for a little bit, and it looks so good when like the sun is shining. It is so vibrant. I love the colors, and I'm so happy that we did this. I feel like this elevates the space so much. I personally love this wallpaper. I feel like it is so bright, vibrant. I love how it turned out. Please keep in mind that I am not a professional. This is a very self-taught thing, so I feel like if you're a professional or if you maybe hire someone, you are probably able to put this up without the tiny little creaks in between. However, I personally don't mind them. I feel like you can't really tell when you just look at the wall in general, and the Lust wallpaper is actually pretty easy to install. So I feel like especially if you have a very angular wall, just one that isn't as structured as ours is. I think I said it before, but they recommend you to use a straight wall and not a structured one, but ours just is structured and we weren't allowed to take it down. So this is what we did. I love how it turned out, and I want to thank Lust Home for gifting me with this amazing wallpaper. I will have all their information linked down below, so make sure to check them out if you're in the market for some amazing wallpaper or some great wall paint. So the shoe cabinet that we bought with the wardrobe, I really loved it. However, there was a little issue because it was missing a knob, and so I luckily had some knobs left from a makeover I did 3 years ago, 2 years, no, it has to be like going on 3 years. I redid the kitchen of my 1-bedroom tiny apartment back then, and I added these amazing golden handle knobs, and I had some left, and so I decided that this one would be perfect. You can obviously tell that this one knob was replaced, but I feel like overall it works really well with the look of the shoe rack. The back part of this knob didn't come off quite as easily as the front part, which I was just able to screw off, so I used a screwdriver and just kind of pulled it apart, and then that worked out pretty well. And then I just used a screw to attach my new knob. A couple of days ago, we actually went back to said thrift store and picked up a mirror. I personally love mirrors. First of all, it makes the space a lot brighter, it kind of opens it up, and it's also obviously great to just have a mirror where you get dressed, to just take a final look and decide if you like the jacket, if the outfit's good. So I just really wanted a mirror there. I will wait. I will wait with you. I don't know if you noticed, but from the beginning of this makeover, my disco ball had been hanging in that one spot over there, and there are two reasons why I chose that spot. The first one is a very practical one. There was already like a piece of metal from the person who had rented this place before we did, and so when we moved in, we just hung it there to have it out of the way, but it really grew on me, and I feel like there are two reasons. The first one is that when the sun sets, it kind of comes in and makes the reflections all over the room, and it's just so beautiful. And the second one is that I really like how it kind of fills the space with the staircase, because usually with like a spiral staircase you always look at that metal part below it, and I feel like this kind of draws your attention in, and so I really like this. So for furniture, other than the pieces that we already talked about, there are two more pieces in this space. The first one is this cabinet right behind me. I had owned this for so many years. This actually has such a cute story because I really wanted a cabinet like this with a big circular mirror that you can like kind of play with the side parts. So I really wanted this, and they were so expensive. Like whenever I looked, I just simply couldn't afford it. And then one day, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even more, could have been 4 years, I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and I saw this, and it was for free. However, for some reason, usually I have the radius to just kind of go for like where I live and then maybe 50 kilometers, but for some reason it was set to the entire country. And so this was for pickup for free at the border to France. And from where we live, or where I used to live, my hometown, that's like a solid 3-hour drive, I'd say. And so I was like, I'm probably not gonna get it, but then I told my dad about it and I sent it to him, and I was like, oh, I'm so sad, there's this cabinet, I really wanna have it, but it is so far away. And so my dad was like, let's make this a little adventure. And he actually got in the car with me, drove 6 hours there, picked this thing up, brought it back home. So I'm so grateful for that. We also had a great time. We went to like a French grocery store there. So this is a piece that I will cherish and treasure forever, and I got it thanks to my dad, and it honestly still means the world. And the other one is that cabinet over there with the glass doors. I truly love that one too. It has a hole in the back that I cut because this used to be my record player stand, but I decided to get a different one, which you will see in the living room makeover. And the main reason is because that cabinet just doesn't have the depth to fit a record. So you can put stuff on top, but it doesn't really make any sense as a record stand. And so I decided to put it down here. In it, we just have some dishes that we don't really use that often, and I truly like it. And on top is this amazing plant. I always wanted to put a plant underneath the staircase here. I love how it's looking, and I love that this plant just has the room to grow. And then it was finally time to decorate the space. yeah, this is how this space turned out. I truly love it. Let me show you around.
All things are yet to pass while you're gone. Just because you know my name does not mean we are the same. Depression and woeful mind. Show me your ungrateful
I said it 100 times in this video, but I love how this space turned out. I feel like this space kind of accidentally came together perfectly, because when we bought the yellow wardrobe, we didn't have decided on the wallpaper yet, but it just turned out so perfectly. I love how it just all came together to make this really, really dreamy and homey feeling space. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I would also love to know what you think about this space. I feel like this makeover is so random because it's just such a random space, but I love how we turned this into a living area and just took away from that very practical character. Please leave a comment down below telling me what you think about this. If you liked it, what you think, how it turned out, if there's anything that you would still add, because I feel like we're still in the process of kind of settling into this place, and so some things definitely are going to change, but I truly really love how this turned out, so I feel like this is a space that will pretty much stay the way that it is right now. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up and maybe even share it with a friend. It supports me, it supports the channel, and it would truly mean the world. If you don't want to miss out on any further parts of the home makeover series and Vlogmas, make sure to subscribe. I try to upload 2 videos a week. Currently, I'm sometimes a little behind on my uploading schedule. I just try not to put too much pressure on me, but generally speaking, I aim for 2 videos a week. However, with Vlogmas coming up, there will be 24 videos in 24 days, so make sure to subscribe to not miss out on that fun. I hope you have a beautiful day. Go out, enjoy the sunshine, take yourself some time to focus on you and your mental health today, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye everybody!